Right guys, in this video I want to talk about 5 ways in which you can improve the company culture within your workplace just using video effectively. A recent study by Gallup showed that only 8% of people within the workforce are actively engaged within the business. 73% are disengaged, and then you've got a final chunk of people who are actively disengaged, who are disruptive within the workplace. So how do we get that middle chunk, that 73%, or as big a percentage of that as possible, into the actively engaged group at 8% currently? If you can get another 10% in there, you've doubled the productivity of your business. So video number 1, where would you start with this? I'd start right at the beginning with the onboarding process. You've got to make sure that that onboarding of new staff means that they are feeling welcomed and loved and desperate to work there. It's a very nerve-wracking experience for a lot of people when they're starting a new job. They don't quite know what it's going to be like on the other side. So imagine they've just accepted a job and then all of a sudden they get through a little email with a video attached to it, which is maybe the CEO, it might be their line manager, it depends how big your business is, but someone there who says, massively excited to be having you joining the business. They might give a little bit about the culture or whatever it is, a little story, but sharing something that's very human and very personal that makes them already think from the beginning, yeah, that's someone who loves what they're doing. Depending on the size of your business and the number of different departments within that, you could have another video from some of the different departments that introduce themselves and who they need to speak to if they've got a problem with IT, for example. You could have one from them. You could have another video which perhaps comes from their line manager. Depends how big your business is. If you're a small business, you could probably do that on an individual basis because you're not going to be doing too many new hires. For a larger industry, you can get to a stage where all of that can be automated through email sequencing, where you just type in that person's email address, add them to a list, and things just get sent out. But an onboarding process that brings them in is hugely important, gets people comfortable, make sure they know who they need to talk to, what the culture is like, maybe some of the ideas about where they, who they need to meet, who they need to talk to, who they need to connect with, so that when they hit the ground, they're already comfortable and confident with the people around them and the culture that's there. The second place where I would use video is with regular updates from someone like the CEO or the senior leaders of your business. The reason why is because for a large organization, it's very easy for the staff on the ground to feel disconnected from the people, the decisions that are being made at the top. And if you can have regular updates done through video, because it's a very personal, human way of communicating, then all of a sudden, people can feel like they're part of that strategic, broader business, like they're all working towards common goals and sharing in the success of the business. So little videos here and there, they don't need to be long, these things, but maybe once every couple of weeks, once a month at least, sharing something about the vision, where the business is. Those are hugely powerful for building their culture and making people feel like they are part of what's going on. Third place where I think video should definitely be used, more and more businesses are doing this anyway, is video conferencing. But there's a couple of things which you need to know when you are setting up your cameras in your video conferencing suites or wherever it is that you are hosting these things and having those meetings. Try and have your camera on the same level as the people that are in the room. So everybody should have the camera at the level in which they are at. If you have the camera right up in the corner of a room, then all of a sudden it feels like you're looking down. And the big thing about creating a culture where people are equal, where people feel like they're respected and on the same level as people, is having that intimate kind of feel and look to what they're doing. Now with video, the minute you are on an eye level with someone, it's a much more intimate looking feel for your camera and it feels more comfortable and more personal. If you've got your camera and it's looking up at people, it puts them in a position of authority and it makes you feel a little bit more comfortable. Same with you looking down. And so people are going to start to feel a little bit more disengaged. But just by simply having your cameras on the same level as all the people, that's going to hugely improve the user experience when you're using video as a tool for video conferencing if you've got people all over the place. Be that internal meetings or meetings with external people as well. Number 4 is video email. This is something which I think is going to be massive in the next couple of years. You've already got a lot of people who are coming out with solutions that enable you to do this very quickly and easily, BombBomb is one that I use. There's Soapbox by Wistia. I think there's one called Loom, but they each enable you to send a video link and an email to someone where they receive that email, they click on it, it comes to a link where they watch a little video of you. This is something which you shouldn't polish. The more polished it is, the less effective it is as a form of communication. You just need to be yourself. You need to be natural. People need to get beyond this idea that video is a marketing tool. It is simply the best way of communicating. Majority of human communication is actually non-verbal. And so it's very easy to get misunderstood when you're using things like email, text messaging, that sort of stuff, because there's so many cues that you're just not seeing, which you can have and you can see when you're doing it on video as a platform. So just hearing people's voices, if you've got someone in customer care who's constantly receiving emails from different people that you've never met because they're in a different building within your organization, just having an email, a video of them, hearing their voice, just on the odd occasion, means that you can instantly, when you're reading a message from them later on, you can instantly put a face to the name. It means that when you're reading the emails that they send also, you imagine it in their voice, and it's a very human way of doing it. So everyone should get used to this idea of being on camera, sending video emails. Doesn't have to be every single time, but people should know what you look like and what you sound like. And the bigger your organization gets, the more important that is, because otherwise you just see people as, they're just a name in the distance. So get used to that. That's going to be huge in the future, and it's a great way of building human communications across your business. The final thing that I think businesses need to do more of, and this is perhaps not necessarily on a scheduled basis, but you just need to be sharing success stories within the business. Whether it be your staff success stories, whether it be your customers' success stories by using your product or service, you need to have an element whereby you are sharing the good things that your business is doing, because story itself and storytelling is hugely powerful. If you look at history, things were passed on through an oral tradition, and all of that oral tradition was done through storytelling, sitting around a campfire, telling stories about what happened. That's how knowledge was passed on and shared. People remember things through stories. And the more stories you tell about the culture, that reinforce the culture, the type of person that you want within the business, the type of successes that you want to see, the more people are hearing those stories, the more they start to internalize that, and they start to look for the positive things within their own job role where they can see the successes that are happening. And it's very easy in some businesses, if you're not sharing successes on a regular basis, for those people who are on the actively disengaged side of things to become toxic and to bring people from that 73% of disengaged workers into that side of things, because people are often drawn to the negative. You probably need a couple of bits that are negative versus 5 bits that are positive in order to actually get people from one side to the other. So continually sharing stories about successes within your business, reinforcing it, all those things together will start to help build a really wonderful culture for which your people can work in. So start using video. Those are just a couple of ideas and places where you can be used. And again, this is stuff which should not be your professional content that comes in and creates a flashy marketing piece. It's just human communication in front of a camera, getting to know people. Keep it simple, keep it easy, because that's where you're going to build a culture with people that love to work where you do. So I hope that helps. Any questions or comments, leave them in the box below, but I will catch you in the next video.